Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday morning. We have a new moon in Pisces, and I have my little Pisces right here. So we wanted to say good morning and welcome you all to the show. Say hi, Lucky. It's almost his birthday, March 19th. Okay, he's done. Hope everybody's doing well today. Okay, let me just shift things around a little bit. There we go, live chat. Good morning, Jennifer. So excited to see you. Okay, so today is a new moon in Pisces, and I have that right. I checked everything this morning, and I'm pretty excited because this new moon has a lot of positive influences, and one of them is that is it on a fixed star that is guided by Archangel Gabriel, and that fixed star, I believe, is called Fulmatat. I don't say that very well, but Archangel Gabriel is somebody that I work with on a regular basis, and I think of Archangel Gabriel as a feminine energy. I don't believe the top four are all male. So I wanted to offer you this week a couple of things. Number one, to work with Archangel Gabriel to give you confidence. You'll see in the angel deck that she will represent any insecurities being turned over to her so that you can experience something new. Wow, good morning, everybody. My goodness, so great to see everybody. Good morning. I want to start by naming everybody, but wow, y'all just shot through so fast. Okay, I'm a little choppy this morning. Let's start with the business at hand. Yes, we picked numbers, and we had 398 and 303, and these were not winners. It is unfortunate, but true. So we're going to have to start again. Let's put some intention behind that next week with your last year, and we'll be coming up on it again in about a month. Okay, I wanted to talk about some other things. I haven't talked about some totems in a while, and I'm going to go back to the Archangel Gabriel thing in a second. I'm a little disorganized this morning. Mercury retrograde, my brain's going. But there's a woman by the name of, oh my goodness. It just slipped my mind. Oh, geez Louise. It'll come to me. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I was cleaning something out and I ran across Charlize, I think. Charlize, she works with John Edward, and she has associated musical notes with our chakras. That's what I was going through some paperwork this week, and I ran across this, and I wanted to talk briefly about the 7 chakras and about the parts of the body that they coordinate to and the musical notes. So when we start with our base chakra, I think you guys are familiar with the 7. It resonates in a red color. It governs our adrenal glands. If you think about our base chakra, it's all based on fight or flight. So we have this sort of deep instinctual sort of id brain working there. So it's going to, our adrenals govern our stress. So it also coordinates to the musical note C. In our second, our sacral chakra, which is in our, it's right in our hip area. It's between our, where our reproductive organs are. Not the base, but oh my goodness, right across my hips is the best way to put it. That sacral chakra governs our wants, our desires, the things that bring us, or the things that we desire for joy, for the what we want to experience on this planet. It is governed by the color orange and the musical note C, and it governs our reproductive organs. We have our third coming up. We have our solar plex chakra. It is our power center. It resonates in the color yellow, and it resonates with the musical note E, and it governs the pancreas. We have our fourth is our heart chakra. It is governed by the color green. Obviously, it covers the things of our heart, the things that we want to feel in our love connection. It's governed by the musical note F, and it rules the thymus gland. We have going up, we have our throat chakra, which resonates in the color blue. It governs our thyroid, and it resonates with the musical note G. Then we go up to our third eye. It's our sixth chakra. It resonates in the color purple. It governs our pituitary gland, and it is governed by the musical note A. And then we finally go to our crown chakra, which is a color. It's almost like, I think of it as iridescent. Some people think of it as white, but I see all the colors coming together. And it's governed by the musical note B and our pineal gland. Our pineal gland is one of the glands that really helps with or facilitates our intuitive bodies, our inner knowing. So I wanted to offer that for you this week, so that as you're listening to meditations and you pay attention to the musical notes, you can start to see where they may resonate in certain chakras. And if you feel, not everyone is going to know the musical notes to feel them like a musician would, but you can start to feel that if something starts to resonate within your body, if you're listening to some sort of music for your meditation and your heart is starting to feel like it's opening, pay attention to those things, and then allow yourself the privilege of opening that up, fostering more of that. So you could pay attention to the correlation between the colors you see, the music you're hearing, and which chakra it represents. Okay. All right. So now I want to go on to doing our readings. And today, again, is that new moon in Pisces. Pisces is a highly spiritual sign. It's also a sign that can make, it's ruled by Neptune. And in ancient times, it's ruled by Jupiter. So there can be this sort of watery effect with Pisces, almost like you're seeing things a little bit fuzzy. So this week with this new moon, this is an opportunity to put forth intentions about what you want to feel on your spiritual journey, coupling that with what's resonating in the chakras of your body, and knowing that Archangel Gabriel is got a guiding hand over this particular new moon. So you might want to even explore the deeper meanings. Archangel Gabriel governs many, many things. Part of it is the connection. She's the guide between here and the other side. So she will guide souls from this experience to the next. And if any of you are experiencing any sort of physical losses, you can call upon her to guide you to open up the communications there so that you can feel the veil thinning. All right, let's go on to our sign. And for this Pisces new moon, we are going to start with Pisces, but that's normal for us. So, okay, here we go. All righty. I want to welcome everybody into the room. I would say the names, but I missed so many of you. So, and Nicole, I think last week you had asked a question about how you figure out where K2 is in your chart. If indeed that was you, K2 is the south node. So if you go into any one of the free sites and you click on the nodes being reflected, you'll see if you know where your north node or Rahu is, K2 will be in the exact opposite spot on your chart. So thought I would answer that question. Oh, good, Cole. I'm glad. All right. Hope that helped you. Here we go. On to our Pisces. This is Pisces rising, Pisces moon, Pisces sun, and Pisces stelliums. Okay, our first angel is Isabella. The second is Bridget. The third is Indriel. And the final is Oceana. Okay. All right, Stephen, paying attention. Yay. Haven't seen Small yet in the Small Wildflowers in the chat yet. Maybe she's busy today. Okay. Joining Isabella is the Queen. Joining Bridget is the Movement card. Joining Indriel is the Hawk. And joining Oceana is the Joy card. Okay, this is pretty cool. Astro Lada has a free birth calculator, but if you go and you Google free birth calculator or a free natal chart, there are so many websites that you can go to that's pretty easy to find, Cole. All right, Pisces, here we go. It's a new moon. New moon is about declaring new things, right? So Isabella is saying the timing is right. Yes, the timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectation. And here is the Queen. The Queen is really not, for me, a feminine energy. It's a receptive energy. It is a fertile energy. So for me, yes, Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon, Pisces stelliums. This is a good time for you to sit in reception of the things that you want. And I want to offer you this. Archangel Gabriel has got her guiding hand on this new moon. So being in connection with her, because in order for there to be the movement you want, Bridget is asking you to look a little bit deeper into your motives. And I say that because in the angel's advice, we have Indriel and the hawk. And this is really about owning what you want from the deepest levels of your heart. So let's just say, for instance, you've been seeking a job and it's been a while. And in the beginning of your job search, you were really aligned to the dynamics you wanted. And then as time went on and it got more difficult, you became more invested in paying your bills and feeling financial security. This is where Bridget is asking you to look deeper, because what she's asking you to look for is where you can shine your light, because there will be movement. If indeed, for some reason, you are basing things on, I just want to get something that will make me feel safe right now, and then I'll look for the big, great job I want later, you're going to have a little bit of a challenging time. I feel like Spirit will be protecting you from your own fears, because Oceana is saying to take action towards what makes you happy. And Isabella is confirming that. Pisces, yes, the timing is right for you to be receptive to getting what it is you want. And there it is. Joy is the greatest manifester. And it's also the hardest energy for the human to feel, because when they're feeling joy, they instantly have this weird, like, boomerang back to what could happen if the joy was taken away. So here we have new moon in Pisces. Pisces represents a very spiritual dynamic. It represents it's the soul. It's the soul's biggest desire. So as you step bravely into that, Pisces, and then you say to Archangel Gabriel, thank you for guiding me during this time to give me the courage to move towards what I desire more than what I feel will bring me safety, rising above your fears. So that's where I want to put with this new moon. I also want to say this for Pisces. I get this feeling that your dream life this week may be very busy. And I think that's because we've got Neptune transiting Pisces as well. And there's also some really fortuitous and yummy kind of fun trines. Mars and Uranus are trining this new moon as well. So I feel like this is really about getting clean with what you want. This is not about thinking about what you can achieve or what you know you can feel. So I want to go there. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses. Good morning, Small Wildflowers. Great to see you. Good morning, Oil Painter. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Mango Notes, Cosmo Kid, Stephen, of course, and everybody that I missed in the beginning. I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. On to Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, Aquarius moon, Aquarius stelliums. Although, you know what? I was thinking about it the other day. I don't see a lot of Aquarius stelliums. It would be super interesting if somebody has an Aquarius stellium, because I would think that would be such an interesting energy. It's so full of newness and liberation and rebellion. All right, Cosmo Kid, here we go. Aquarius moon. I know a lot of Aquarius moons, but not a lot of Aquarius stelliums. All right. Here we go. Our first angel is the Patience card. The second is Teresa. The third is Caressa. And the final is Daniel. All right. Ooh, Pisces ascended at 29 degrees. Sandu, that would make you very intuitive. Very intuitive. Okay, here we go. Hi, Julie. Jules, I'm sorry. Hi, Jules. Nikki, you'll have to check and see. Stephen, you didn't substitute all last week. Did that put you in a compromised energy? Because that's what would be very powerful about that last spread, Pisces Sun. All right, Aquarius. I know I get distracted. People get mad at me. Sorry. All right, Patience is being joined by the dragon. Aquarius, Teresa is being joined by the goblin. Caressa is being joined by the dog. And Daniel's being joined by the focus card. Okay. The dragon is about power and strength, guys. And the patience card is not about sitting on an egg. It's not about holding your breath. It's about assimilating the energies around you. It's about paying attention. And this is where your power will come from. I want to say it this way. This last week, in a lot of the readings I was doing for clients, there was a lot of movement happening in their lives, but not necessarily movement they could see with their eyes. It was movement they could feel if they were willing to set their fears aside and move towards what their deeper knowing was feeling. Because when I look at this, I feel like what Spirit is saying for Aquarius right now is that your power will come through your powers of observation and through assimilation. So as you assimilate what you're observing, you'll be able to determine, and this is my opportunity and or my obstacle, where my ego is getting checked. Aquarius, Teresa's a card of worry. And the ego is the thing that will make us worry. The ego will remind us often where our holes are, where our fears are, where our doubts and trepidations about ourselves are. And we still are going through this Saturn-Pluto conjunction. It's getting a little further apart, so we're getting a little bit of reprieve. But there's still this, which is this is not in play. This is my opportunity and or my obstacle. The ego should never be villainized. The ego should be honored in many ways, but also we have to sometimes look and say, is the ego sitting in balance? Because for my Aquarius, in the angel's advice, we have Caressa and the dog. The dog represents love, loyalty, and sincerity, and Caressa represents the end of a chapter in our lives. And what I think that may be for Aquarius is being able to see where your ego works for you and where she may get a little, or he may get a little bit alarmist, a little bit dominant in fear, because I'm going to go into the final position is Daniel and the focus card. And this is interesting because Daniel represents marriage. He represents bringing in a partner, but I'm not feeling that for Aquarius right now. This feels like a marriage of two sides of yourself. This feels like it is about focusing in on, okay, let me back up a little bit. Daniel talks about bringing a story into my relationships, into my intimate relationships, and we all have a story to tell. And oftentimes that story is one of challenge and one where we've been hurt. So when Aquarius can go back into the foundational position of observing your power as you focus in on what it is that you want, and you use your history, the ego, as a launching pad. Okay, so I want to put it this way. Let's say Aquarius has been challenged in finding people who were authentic in a relationship, meaning they told you what they wanted and they backed it up with their actions. I feel like this is an opportunity for you to come into your power and strength by observing things from your higher knowing, paying attention to when your ego is starting to warn you about things. The ego is so often villainized as being the one that only wants to pull the rug out from underneath us. But in this instance, Aquarius, it's trying to love you and end a chapter where you're duplicitous in some ways, when you're going back and forth, because this is where you can focus in on what you are observing now versus what has come before. I hope that that made sense, because this feels like a bit of an inside job. If we think about it, Pisces rules the 12th house. The 12th house is what is hidden, what we don't see. So what's behind us, because the first house represents self. So I feel like for Aquarius this week, this moon, and with Archangel Gabriel's help, you can start to observe the things around you, what is lining up, and then communicate with yourself in a more integrated way. It's rather than saying one thing is good and one thing is bad, they work together. Your ego, your higher self. Okay, let's go on. I hope that made sense. All right, here we go on to Capricorn. We are going backwards. Okay, here we go. Oh, and just before I go on to Capricorn real quick, small wildflowers, the numbers this week that nobody won were 303 and 398. So boo hiss on that whole idea. And we'll move on from here. Hopefully we'll get a winner next week. Okay. So we're going on to Capricorn. Capricorn moon, Capricorn sun, Capricorn rising, Capricorn stelliums. I said that in all the wrong order. Capricorn rising first, moon second, stelliums and sun. And I say stelliums because I believe when you have 4 or more planets in one sign, it is truly a very influential thing on our chart and should be paid attention to. Okay. Boo-hoo, no winners. I know, really. Okay. For our Cappies, our first angel is Archangel Gabriel. The second is Athena. The third is Mystique. And the final is Maya. And if you're all just checking in on your timestamps, I say excitedly that Archangel Gabriel is in the foundational position because her hand is on this guiding new moon. And what she really talks about is having turning over your insecurities to her. So as you're embarking upon the dynamics of a new moon, contemplating new directions, contemplating the things you want to birth in this month, and the spiritual things potentially that you want to birth, and allowing Archangel Gabriel to I want to say lead the way, but it's about leading the way as you walk towards the light. That's how you'll see it. Okay, here we go. Capricorn. Joining Archangel Gabriel is the spider. Joining Athena is the stag. Joining Mystique is the goblin. And joining Maya is the birth and the rebirth card. All right. So, Capricorn. Archangel Gabriel is asking you to turn over whatever insecurities you have. And I want to say it this way. The spider for me is really a relationship card. It is the kind of thing that when the fly goes into the web, it is a cooperative relationship to provide nourishment and sustenance for the spider. So for me, when I look at this, I feel like Capricorn will be most nourished and most guided in their connection to spirit, in the way of communicating with spirit, really being able to start to anchor into the 3D experiences, that connection. Because, and I'm going to jump to the 4th position, I believe that Capricorn is being offered a rebirth and an education in their connection to spirit. I believe this has been going on for quite some time. You know, as Saturn has been traversing Capricorn, it's been highlighting, obviously in your natal chart, it's going to depend upon what planets and what the aspects are, but it's been highlighting where there have been fears and doubts. So as you give permission on this new moon to turn over any residual fears and doubts, you will actually gain strength in this rebirth and this new connection. And I say that because in my opportunity and or my obstacle, I have Athena, which represents lovingly asserting myself, and the stag is about leadership. And Capricorn, it rules the 10th house. To me, Capricorn is I love the energy of Capricorn's leadership. And I think that what's going on here is this is about being able to be a leader, but from a more emotive place, being aware of the relationships in your life. In the Angel's Advice, we have mystique, and again, we have the ego. What is the ego? The ego is going to represent our fears. The ego is going to say, can you do it? Are you good enough to do it? Will people like you? You know, it's also when you're sitting on your butt doing nothing, the ego will say, you're going to get up and do something. You're going to prove that you are all that you can be. And I think this is where mystique, coming out of the dark and into the light, this is where you're learning to work with your ego in a way that will serve you. There is no leader on this planet, has there ever been or will there ever be, that did not have a strong enough ego to say, I can be the leader. So the ego is really one of the things that I believe we are, as humans in this souls living in this human experience, we are here to learn to balance the ego or to work with it in tandem, because that's what I think is being offered for Capricorn. So just to round things up for this week on this new moon, you have Archangel Gabriel's guiding hand, offering you sustenance. I want to offer it this way, offering you the beginning signs that things are sticking. Things are starting to become more rooted in your, oh, sorry, I've got a hair in my eye. I want to say more rooted in your physical experience. But this time you're learning how to start the beginnings of the manifestation through your energetic body. So what our energetic body is, our emotional body. It is how we really feel. And when we're feeling insecure, that's when we engage spirit and we start to assert ourselves from that place, which then brings our ego into balance. Okay. And I want to say this too. Our ego is like hormones. They will never be completely balanced. There is no destination. With every endeavor, the ego will go up and down, trusting the experience and then being doubtful. And it's through the doubt that the real empowerment happens, because as you conquer something, you feel stronger about it. Okay. Stephen, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I haven't been able to read too much and going on in the chat. We're sending lots of love and light to you to feel better. Welcome, Anne from Norway. Okay. All right. And, interesting too is that your birthday is falling right about the time that Mercury is going to, I believe on March 4th, Mercury is going to drift into Aquarius in its retrograde before it goes back the other way. I think that's an opportunity for many people to grab onto that Uranian energy that Aquarius has to offer and liberate yourselves from what's been holding you back. Because if you were never held back, you'd never know how good it feels to spring forward. Okay. Thank you, Cosmo Kid. Okay, here we go. We are going on to our Sagittariuses. Hey, Thibaut, welcome back. Good to see you in the room today. Oh, I would love to be able to see the aurora lights. Oh my goodness, that's one of my bucket list things. Okay, here we go, Sagittarius. Our first angel is Yvonne. The second is Mystique. The third is Archangel Uriel. And the final is Ray. Joining Yvonne is the partnership card. Joining Mystique is the Wasp. Joining Archangel Uriel is the fire fairy, and joining Ray is the bird. Okay. Here we go. I'm on to Libra. I'm heading that way, Mark. I go backwards. I start at Pisces and head towards Aries, and we are on Sagittarius right now. Thank you, small wildflowers. Okay. So Yvonne talks about on the face of the card having a way with animals. I rarely ever see it that way. I'm a single woman. Most of my life I had cats. I know it's an old boring cliche. But anyway, Yvonne for me became a card of vulnerability. Whenever I was feeling vulnerable to something, feeling like, will I be able to achieve it? Will I be able to experience this? Will I know the things I want in my life? I would dream about my cats, and I would always dream that they were lost and I was having to find them somewhere. I was having to chase them down, and they were so elusive. And then here we have the partnership card. I wonder, Sagittarius, are you feeling vulnerable in relationships? Are relationships feeling elusive in some way? And even if you're in a relationship, it could be that maybe you're feeling a little bit unseen in the relationship right now, or feeling vulnerable to wanting a deeper connection. Because in the opportunity or the obstacle, I have Mystique and I have the Wasp. And the Wasp is never an easy energy. It's always stingy. And it may come in the form of being angry. And Mystique is saying to keep charging ahead, this is coming out of the dark and into the light. This is Gloria Estefan's song after the bus accident. So to me, this is really your opportunity, is to see that there is a change coming, to see that there is something more on the horizon that you can't see, and being vulnerable to that dynamic. And in partnership, I want to put it this way, because I don't think this is about partnership with self. I think it's partnership with others. And I'm not necessarily assigning it to intimate partnerships. It could be friendships. It could be any relationships where there's enough connection for you to feel like you should be seen, and you may not be being seen right now. Because, okay, so we have Mystique asking you to charge ahead in spite of being angry. We have Archangel Uriel and the Fire Fairy in the Angel's Advice asking you to really look at your frustrations. And are you focusing so much on your frustrations? Because this is the creative action and optimism. And I feel like for my Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, being a higher ideals. And I feel like you might be just slightly stuck in your story, slightly stuck in what has happened versus what can happen. And I say that because the bird represents my history. And then here is Ray. And Ray, for me, is a card of meditation. And we started off this broadcast talking about the chakras, about the musical notes that resonate with the various chakras and the colors. And here we find Ray with her power center, the yellow stripe in her, connected to her third eye. So for Sagittarius, I feel like it's very important this new moon to declare what it is that you feel vulnerable about in relation, and thank Spirit. Do not ask them, thank them for giving you new experiences so that you can shift your story. Because up until now, I feel like you may be frustrated. And I feel like you're frustrated because somehow things don't feel even. It doesn't feel like, even if you've been in a relationship, and maybe it's just a phase, but maybe this phase has been going on for a little bit too long. And so now this is about kind of digging in a little bit deeper. Archangel Gabriel, again, will help us address our insecurities. So as you say to her, thank you for helping me to feel more connected in my relationships overall. Thank you for me feeling my value within my relationships. I really need that right now. And I feel like in doing so, we'll start to see whatever frustrations you may be feeling or whatever lack of appreciation start to ease off. Okay, let's go on to our Scorpios. Okay. And I want to offer you this idea. What we tend to do when we think about wanting to experience something, like wanting to have a relationship, and just sort of in your comment, you say, but this is what I have experienced. This is where I feel like this is where the vulnerability comes in. It's like, I know this is what I've experienced, but now it's really time to focus in on what I want to experience. I think this is why people have invented these devices like vision boards. It's so that we can actually put our focus in the experience we want versus the experience that we've had. It is extremely, I mean, it would be, I can't even find the big enough word to say how hard it is not to go into our history. It's like when you know something about your life path, you can't help but see it. So, if you've had money problems, you'll be like, well, I really want to have a lot of money, but I've only ever had this much money. And that last part of what you're believing or thinking or contemplating is what is starting to send the momentum. So that's why we say to Spirit, thank you for giving me the eyes to see and to feel things from a new platform, from a new dynamic. Because that way we can start to pull in an anchor. Experience teaches, words don't teach. So that's why we thank Spirit for new experiences. All right, let's go on to Scorpio. Scorpio rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I want to offer this. 111 is a number of thought. The ones are always about thought. And the resistance of thought is like gasoline on a fire. So if you've been in a challenging dynamic and you're resisting thinking about it, again, that's where you thank Spirit for the eyes and the heart to have a new experience, because it's not viable to try to create something new when you're still resisting what was old. Ask yourself, what do I have to learn from that? What tool can I extract from that? And at the very bottom line will be the energy of it. So let's say you've been vulnerable to the backlash of your own thoughts. Being able to say, Spirit, I am vulnerable to my history. I tend to go into the future and boomerang back into the past. Thank you for easing that. Thank you. And just the consciousness of it will start a new dynamic. Okay, here we go. On to our Scorpio. Scorpio moon. Scorpio rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay. I'm not doing cusps, but I want to say this. Jaylyn, when you have that cusp energy, I feel like you can always sort of feel which way you fall on the cusp energy. So I would pay attention to that. And I would pay attention if that's on your rising, like as I've got a late degree Aries rising, and I really know that I'm an Aries rising. People can see my Aries rising coming a mile away. But for others, it may be a little bit different. I got to tell you, Stephen, I think that the whole reason you've been having these challenges with work for the last year is because you have not surrendered to your deeper truth, which is that you want to teach astrology. And I feel like if you started to surrender to that and you started to give life to that and focus in on that, then you would start to see a momentum. I told you guys earlier that I had been going through some paperwork and I ran across the chakra thing, which I wanted to share with you. I also ran across a summary in 2011 of my business. I was starting to build this practice that you're seeing here on Sundays now. And I laughed because what I was doing in 2011, I could never have imagined at that time what I'm doing now. And while it would have been great to have that and know it, my job was to take it in little baby steps. Little baby steps. Little baby steps lead to big, long runs. Okay. And the hard work is believing that your intentions can come true. Okay, here we go. 0 degrees Sagittarius rising. Jalen, that's huge. That's the beginning degree of Sagittarius, of higher beliefs, of foreign beliefs, of new, of a connection to spirit, a spiritual journey. That's a really significant degree. It's like being a baby in the energy. It's the purest form of that energy as you're starting that house. Okay. All right. Finally, Scorpio. Our first angel is Xana. The second is Opal. The third is Teresa. And the final is Archangel Michael. Now, really onto Scorpio. Yes. Oh my God. Timestamps must be so hard. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. I'm such a pain. Okay. Joining Xana is the disruption card. Joining Opal is the spider. Joining Teresa is the hawk. And joining Archangel Michael is the protection card. All right, Scorpio, this is the deal. Here we go. Xana is a card of protection, an angel of protection. She's asking you to feel safe and to know that the worst type of harm is behind you. And there's the disruption card. There's a energy right now with this new moon that maybe, every new is the ending of something. And every ending is the beginning of something. So for my Scorpios, I feel like this new moon in Pisces, again, Pisces ruling the 12th house, what is behind me, what I can't see. And I feel like this is what's going on for Scorpio. There's a disruption that is actually protecting you. It is something that's happening that is moving something out to bring something more authentic in. And I say that because Opal is in the opportunity and or the obstacle, and there is the spider. And what I believe this is for, Scorpio, is the real depths of the type of relationship that you want. And in the angel's advice, we have Teresa and the hawk. Okay, so I want to put it this way. If Scorpio is experiencing a disruption, the ending of one situation, the ending of some relationship, it's because there's something more on the horizon a deeper truth, and you're being protected from settling for something less, because here's Archangel Michael, the great protector, asking you to have courage for the deeper truth of what you want. And then there's the protection card again. So for Scorpio rules the 8th house. The 8th house is that connection. It is it's the occult. It's the curiosity, what is beyond death in the human experience. It's some people might think the 8th house is a little bit scary, but it's also rich in what it has to offer in connection between here and there. So for Scorpio, if there is a metaphoric death happening in some respects for you, know that is really protecting your deeper wanting, the things that are more authentic to your soul. And in some respects, during this new moon, it's about rising above what it is you worry about, and knowing that if this protection card is like, this is the thing. I don't think that you're being protected from making a bad mistake as much as I feel like the protection comes in the form of this new moon in Pisces representing a more spiritual dynamic. It's like you're being protected from falling under the veil of the human experience where you believe that you're limited. I believe that there's a bigger story going on here. And now your job as Scorpio is to believe that you are like the phoenix rising above the ashes, and that you are aligning to something that is more authentic to your truth, because you are very transformational by nature. You are meant in some ways to go through a series of rebirths. It doesn't mean that it has to be sad or bad or painful. And I say it in the way of like, when we're willing to look at what isn't working for us, Scorpio, when we're willing to really look at what we've been hanging on to that was just giving us a little bit of what we wanted versus the big, savory, yummy, deep connection that Scorpio wants, then it'll be easier for you to make these interior changes, to trust that any disruption is actually protecting you, and that your strongest protection comes in your willingness to believe there's a bigger story and to have courage to walk towards that. Okay, that's where we're going with our Scorpios. And again, this new moon in Pisces is in coordination with a star, and I believe it's pronounced Fulmohat, but I'm not very good with weird sounding words to me, so I apologize for that. But that star is associated with Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel also ushers souls from the human experience back onto the other side. In many ways, it is that transformation, that soul returning home. But when I say home, I don't mean a place. I mean a knowing. Because the soul reincarnates all the time. So maybe this planet is home. I don't know. All right, here we go. On to our Libras. Finally, Libra. Whew. For every metaphoric death in my life, I've found a tangible and concrete tool that I can take with me. And in the beginning, when I was younger and I would go through these deaths, oh my God, I wanted to physically, honestly die. I was so torn up by it. But as I've gotten older and I can start to see things from a more energetic place, then I can start to feel things in a way where that protection becomes more obvious. And the protection comes in the way of pausing. The protection doesn't come because I'm running away from something. It comes in the way of, oh, this feels familiar. This feels familiar. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of what familiar feels like. I have certain people who will call me and they'll want to book an appointment. And they will already say to me, but I'm probably going to cancel that appointment. And what I know is that the deeper intention is that they're not really going to make the appointment. I don't think they're doing it negatively. It's just that I have learned that there are energetic back doors, and our energy and our language will reveal those back doors. And if I, as the human, pay attention to it, then I don't need to get irritated. So when someone says, oh, I'm going to book an appointment, but I might cancel it, or my job might call me in, or da-da-da-da, whatever, then I don't set that in stone in my mind. And if you start to pay attention, you'll see that the people that say that will end up doing what they said they were going to do, not make the appointment, the other thing they said, the second thing. So this is where I'm going with that. This is how protection shows up. This is how metaphoric deaths can become the tools for real life. Real life. Okay. Here we go. All right, Libra. Libra rising, Libra moon, Libra sun, and Libra stelliums. First angel is Grace and Antoinette. The second is Sonia. The third is Athena. And the final is Isaiah. I have I have my Mars in Libra as well. And I have my Sun in Libra. And I have Rahu, or the North Node, in Libra. All right, here we go. Okay, Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Wind Fairy. Sonia is being joined by the Grail Knight. Athena is being joined by the Raven. And Isaiah is being joined by Merlin. Okay, so for my Libras, Grace and Antoinette is a card of compassion. It's a card of seeing things from another person's point of view. Well, if there's anything Libra does well, it's seeing things from another person's point of view. But I want to offer this. I believe that this is a card of compassion, as Libra, my beautiful air sign, may be a little bit judgy of themselves and their thoughts. You may be a little bit in a situation where you're potentially over analyzing things. I want to put it that way from from a cerebral place, because when I go to my opportunity and or my obstacle, I have the Grail Knight. And the Grail Knight is Lancelot, and he is kneeling down to Excalibur, the sword of truth. And there's Sonia. Sonia represents our connection to the other side. It will represent our, it can represent a deceased loved one, you know, connecting from heaven, but I don't think that that's true here. I think it's Libra's connection to spirit is asking you to have compassion for your deliberation as you stand in your deeper truth. And in the angel's advice, it's saying, Athena's saying it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself. And here's the magic, the timing, the raven. I want to put it this way. I feel like Libra may be expecting a lot from themselves. I'm seeing myself right now. I'm a Libra sun at 23 degrees on Spica, which is awesome, but it's also squaring Pluto right now. Boo, hiss, blech. I hate it. It's driving me crazy. I have all these great ideas. I want to move them forward. I'm feeling pushed back. It's this weird feeling right now. So what I want to say, this is my opportunity and or my obstacle, is to trust a deeper truth in myself. But I got to turn it over to spirit right now, because sometimes asserting myself is not always about asserting myself it's a timing issue. Sometimes when we're pushing, like, I have to do this, I have to do this. No, you don't have to do it. It's about wanting to do it, because in the final position is the Isaiah saying it's time to give birth to new ideas and new situations. And there's Merlin. Merlin is the grand wizard. What does he do? He's the magical wizard. The magic comes through compassion of the brain right now for Libra. Compassion of, if you are a Libra and you are late. Now when we talk rising, Libra rising is completely different house system, but that doesn't mean that the degrees aren't squaring again. So pay attention to that kind of stuff. I know. Well, I want to say sometimes it's about how much you want to do something, and it's also about a certain timing. So here's where I want to go with that, Anne. When I my whole life have loved doing this work, felt this spiritual teacher. I have Jupiter in Sagittarius, but I'm of an age, I'm 60 years old. If I had tried to push my story forward earlier, I would not have been ready. I would not have been able to be who I was. I had to wait for technology to catch up. I had things to learn on my journey, while technology gave me an opportunity as I got older. So what I want to say for Libra is, maybe it's time to get out of your head. Maybe there's something about you learning self-compassion that is actually going to take you to a deeper truth and empower you in a timing you cannot be aware of right now. And your job is to allow Merlin to do his job. Merlin is alchemy. Merlin is pressure, balance through pressure. And there's the new idea. The new idea is, it's not all about me pushing something forward. It's a baton pass. And it's also about getting my thoughts in alignment. And when I say thoughts, those thoughts, I go straight to thoughts based on fear. My personal chart, so I have my sun at 23 degrees, and then I have Mars at 27 degrees in Libra. So Saturn is sitting on my Mars. And I was telling Darren the other day, we were talking, and I literally had my transit Saturn squaring my natal Mars, and the transit Mars sitting conjunct my natal Saturn. And I was just like, I don't know whether to come or go. I don't know whether to cut off heads or to lay down and take a nap. And I feel like for Libra this week, this whole idea of giving birth to new ideas is that maybe there's some wisdom to nothing. There's a wisdom to pause. There's a wisdom to allowing something to be revealed as you step into your deeper truth. Darren asked me, how are you dealing with this transit? What are you going to do? And I said, what can I do about it? You know, it is what it is. And my soul contracted to be here at this time. So what I think about are, all right, let's look at Pluto transformed. Let's look at Saturn transformed. If I surrender to the mind going back and forth, trying to figure out and put myself in some sort of strategic position to brace for whatever Pluto and Saturn want to throw at me, or do I say, I'm going to use Pluto and Saturn to support me, because I'm willing to look at where my being is based on fear, where I'm resisting transformation, where I'm holding on to decay, and that decay needs to be put into compost so it can be transformed. All right, on to Virgo. Hi, Rachel. Good morning. Okay, here we go. Well, we hope Bo Jean is watching as well. Okay, here we go. We're going on to our Virgo rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Okay. All right, here we go. Virgo, our first angel is Crystal. Our second is Chantal. The third is Maya. And the final is Patience. I love it when Virgo or Gemini, ruled by Mercury, it gets somebody like Crystal, because Crystal is always about a deeper knowing. It's about having faith in what you can't see. And I love that. Yay! All right, everybody's here. The party started. Oh, that's Jen Fry. That is so cool that Gabrielle came to you during this new moon. I would absolutely put some oomph on that energy and see what she wants to work with you on this next month in the way of creating new things for you. Okay. Virgo, joining Crystal is the focus card. Joining Chantal is the bee. Joining Maya is the mystery card. And joining Patience is the eagle. Okay. So, Crystal says, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you cannot see. And here is the focus card. I want to say this is really about when we, as humans, we tend to, when we're contemplating, we tend to go to the dark side. We go to the story that doesn't work for us. You know, we don't hear from the boyfriend, then he's obviously dumped us and found a new girl. We don't hear from the job. They obviously found someone better. I feel like for Virgo, and I'm going to say, and Gemini too, your job is really in these moments, this chapter of your life is to start to focus in on what you want, to focus in on that. What if you can? What if things are actually working for you instead of you having to push so hard? Because in the opportunity, the obstacle, I feel like Virgo is about to fall in love with themselves. And I want to say this is not because you've achieved something. It's because you've recognized something within yourself. And that is your focus. And your focus is meant to be on faith in yourself, faith in your natal chart, that the plan that you made with God and the angels is on track. And whatever disruption or whatever obstacles have come are meant to support your being energy in a more rooted way. Without obstacles, you would never know the resources you have. And I say that because Maya is teaching Virgo something about choice and what you choose to focus in on. And this is not to the exclusion. It's not going to be easy. It's never easy, no matter what, to just say, oh, I see the obstacle. It's not there. No, I don't need to worry about it. No, it's more about connecting with spirit. There's that obstacle. Thank you for anchoring my focus into my faith, because in the final position, we have Patience and we have the eagle. Patience is about synthesizing information. It's about observing things and taking it and applying it into my life. And then here is the eagle, the connection to the angelic realm. I want to say this. I feel like this last 2 years for all of us has been an exercise in putting an intention and then following the intention versus the physical material experience. So with this new moon, with Archangel Gabriel's hand on this new moon, because she's ruling the fixed star, full Mulhat, however you say it, that is attached to this Piscean energy. So here we go. We have a 4 degree. I didn't even mention that. This Piscean thing is at 4 degrees. 4 is the fourth house. Fourth house rules home. It rules the platform, where we sit on this on the chart, right? The wheel. It's the foundation. So for Virgo, as you become more focused on faith, you fall more in love with not only yourself, but with your own choices, the choices that quiet the noise in your head and start to give you new experiences that are guided by spirit. And I say that because this here feels like an anchoring. It feels like, okay, so the eagle represents an integrity as well as and that connection to spirit. So it feels like you can stand in more integrity in your faith. And in doing so, it creates a deeper root ball. Okay, that's it. All right. Dun, 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 dun. We're going on to Leo. Okay. That's Libra rising will have Capricorn as that fourth house. Now let's transform that energy from being fear-based and doubtful to the longevity that Saturn offers, the savoriness or the sweetness that the journey has to offer. Saturn offers us reward as time goes on, because time as it goes on, with our willingness to look at the journey, gives us the wisdom to synthesize our experiences and then move forward in more faith. Okay. I'm really going on to Leo, and I'm not going to talk anymore until I start Leo. I lied. I always talk. Okay. Here we go, Leo. I have Uranus in Leo. Good night, Nikki. We'll see you next week. Sending lots of love to you for a great week and a roof over your head. A solid roof. Okay. Here we go, Leo. Our first angel is Archangel Gabriel. The second is Yvonne. The third is Desiree. And the final is Caressa. This seems kind of perfect, I have to say, for Leo, because Yvonne is holding a kitten, look, in her little hands. And this is about vulnerability. So my Lions, it's going to be a week of being vulnerable to a bigger picture of what you want. I can feel it coming. All right, Leo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Archangel Gabriel is being joined by the letting go card. Yvonne is being joined by the disruption card. Desiree is being joined by the lady of the lake. And Caressa is being joined by the dragon. Okay, so for those of you that are new to my show, when the letting go card shows up, I never see it as letting go of anything. I have a Taurus moon. I can't let go of things, especially when they're repeatedly happening. But what I can do is it's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. This has become Let It Go from Frozen, the first movie. And here's Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel is talking about turning over your insecurities and the way you communicate. So Leo, this is about doing things your own way. And I want to offer you this because I have felt so much for the last few months that Leo has been sort of trying to play a more cooperative game with others. Sorry, I can't seem to turn my phone off no matter whether I put it on airplane mode or not. Anyway, where I'm going with this is I feel like what Spirit is saying in this new moon, this Piscean new moon, guided by Archangel Gabriel, it's about allowing yourself to be who and what you are fearlessly. And this is about allowing yourself, this is the opportunity, the obstacle, to be vulnerable to any disruptions, because right now you may just be a little kitten, but you're growing into a big lion. And that lion is not about eating up people or Christians in the arenas. It's about expressing yourself as the king. The lion is the king of the animal kingdom. The Leo is ruled by the sun, which rules the whole zodiac sign. So it's time for Leo to allow themselves to do things their own way, even if it is disruptive in some ways to others. You've got to be vulnerable to that, because here we have in the angel's advice, Desiree and the Lady of the Lake. Desiree says conditions are not favorable, but I don't think that's what she's saying. She's saying they're not favorable if you're not standing in your truth, Leo. Being in your truth is the only thing you can do. Being who you are, what you are. You represent the fifth house, fun, romance, creative genius. You are meant to shine. And oftentimes those around you might want you to be a more cooperative energy. They may want you to be more of a herd animal, but I don't believe that's what you're meant to be. That's why you came off in this Leo energy. So Caressa is saying, you are at the end of a life cycle. Allow God and the angels to comfort you as you move on to a new chapter. I'm pretty sure you guys can all hear that going off. Okay, because I'm going back to the foundational position, Leo. This is about turning over whatever insecurities you have and the potential that you will not be accepted or loved by others as you do your own thing, because I think it's the opposite. I think you will find more power and more strength, because this is where I want to put it. When I say power and strength, it isn't about being strong and dominant over others. It's about being powerful and strong in being who you are, being in what interests you, what excites you, what makes you vital, what makes the sun shine around you. So for those around you that may be saying, maybe you want to play by the rules a little bit more. No, I don't think that's what Spirit's saying. No. This is about you doing it the way you want to do it. And in doing so, you are inadvertently giving permission for those other people to do things the way they want to do them. And that to me is the greatest gift you could possibly give them. So Leo, let your fun flag fly. Call upon Archangel Gabriel so that you can feel, because when I think of confidence, I don't know if I really want to say that Leo isn't confident, as much as I feel like Leo's been going through this period of time when they're wanting to let others feel as confident as they do. And if you keep dumbing down, you're not going to help. The other people are just going to start feel smaller and smaller and smaller. So be your big self, and then invite them to be them big selves too. I hope that made sense. Okay. Oh, Gina, that's so sweet. I love that. That's just the thought that you would like to send a donation is so warms my heart. And I don't know how to do it, so I can't tell you. Okay, we are going on to our Cancers. That's our moon children. And we are going our moon, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And I actually think stelliums should be before moons. Okay, here we go. I go backwards, Jana. I start at Pisces and I go backwards. I did this about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 Mercury retrogrades ago, just to change it up. And I haven't been able to go back and do it the way everyone else does it. So we always start at Pisces and we end with Aries. Okay, here we go. For my moon children, aka Cancers, our first angel is Azure. The second is Vanessa. The third is Ray. And the final is Rochelle. Oh, I think that there's a way you can click on in the chat to send a donation. I'm not really sure how that goes. I think there's something. I don't know. All right. Azure is being joined by the Joy card, Cancer. Vanessa is being joined by the Grail Knight. Ray's being joined by the Communications. And Rochelle's being joined by the Fear card. Okay. Azure says, your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have patience and faith and don't try to force something. And then there's the Joy card. Now, I want to say this. Joy is the most challenging emotion for the human to feel. The minute we start to feel joyful, we start to think about, hope this doesn't end. Oh, I wish this would last forever. Oh, no good deed goes unpunished. So for my Cancers, this is really about allowing yourself to leap off of wherever you're sitting and to thank God and the angels for your desired outcome happening in the near future, and then doing your best to sit in joy. Now I'm going to go to the final position before I go back, because Rochelle is saying, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you. For me, prosperity is in the form of feeling happy and thriving in many areas. My physical body, my mental body, my emotional body, my spiritual body, my financial body, my family body, my friendship body, all the facets that make the human experience. And Rochelle is being joined by the Fear card. Well, these couldn't be more challenging, because what does joy do? It triggers our fears. So Cancer, your job this week and this new moon with Archangel Gabriel, with her help, because she's here to help you turn over your insecurities, turn over your trepidations in your communications. Because in the opportunity or the obstacle is Vanessa saying, have faith, make your decisions based on faith. And the Grail Knight is asking you to kneel to your deeper truth. Because as you kneel to your deeper truth, you will start to have your fears work for you and empower you. We never want to eliminate fear. Fear would dumb down the human experience. If we didn't have fear, that's what I'm trying to say, the human experience would never be as rich, full, or exciting as it is, because it is through the conquering. Fear is not the same when we're incarnate. When we're in spirit, fear is more. It's almost like when we're in spirit, when we see human fear, it's like watching a child learning how to ride a bike. And you can see perfectly well that they may fall and stumble, but they're not truly going to hurt themselves. So the reason I'm saying all this is because as you can adopt that dynamic, as you can adopt more faithful space into your deeper truth, there's a reason why I want to have this faith, because in the Angel's Advice is the Communications card, and there's Ray. Again, your power is going to come through your connection to spirit, this is your power chakra, your heart chakra, and your throat chakra, all coming through your third eye. So for this new moon, I believe this is more of an emotional thing for Cancer. I believe this is about wanting to feel connected and valuable and appreciated within your life experience. And your job on some level is to relax, I think, this week, is to start to spend time with Archangel Gabriel specifically, thanking her for giving you the eyes and the experiences to support that deeper truth that you want. And that's connection to those around you. All right, going on to our Geminis. Gemini rising, Gemini moon, Gemini stelliums, and Gemini sun. Okay. I always feel like Archangel Gabriel is a specifically, not that the other angels are not all loving and warm, but I feel like because she works so closely with our insecurities, I feel like she really understands how hard it is when we're in the human experience to not look at what we've experienced and to move forward with intention. So this new moon in Pisces ruled by the 12th house, the things that we can't see, the things that are behind us. So as we give life to this sort of really benevolent and understanding energy, we don't have to resist our insecurities. It's not trying to be secure when we feel insecure. It's not trying to be certain when we feel doubtful. It's more about the willingness to be honest and human as we struggle to those higher octaves of ourselves. Okay. Yes, Jana, we'll post this after, it'll be uploaded this afternoon. I have a reading right after this. So I won't get to the timestamps until later this afternoon, and I'll take care of that small wildfires. You don't need to worry about it. So yeah, you'll be able to watch the recording. Sometimes other people post and it gets a little buried, but just look down through the videos. You'll find me. I'm here every week. Okay, on to Gemini. Our first angel is Xana. The second is Maya. The third is Caressa. And the final is Desiree. Okay. Oh, Jana, so your first time here. Well, welcome, welcome. And we play a little game every week. You can pick a number between 2 and 500 for a chance to win a half-hour free reading with me. You need to come back next week to see if you're number 1, though. Okay, here we go. Okay, joining Xana is the focus card. We're on Gemini, guys. Joining Maya is the movement card. Joining Caressa is the love card. Joining Desiree, dun, 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 is the disruption card. Okay. I'm here every week, 11 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday mornings. All right, Gemini. Xana is the card of protection. She talks about protection. She asks you to feel safe, what does she say? You are protected from all types of harm. The worst is behind you. I ask you to feel relaxed and safe. And then here is the focus card. I was talking earlier about Virgo and Gemini both being ruled by Mercury and having this Mercury retrograde and kind of going back and forth. And I feel like there is a bit of a challenge for Gemini this week because you're going to have to really connect with spirit about the noise in your mind. Because in the opportunity of the obstacle, we have Maya, the card of schooling and education, and we have the movement card. So this is your opportunity. And what I think this is about is Caressa saying you're at the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you. And there's the love card. I feel for Gemini, this is about your love body. This is whether you're in a relationship, not in a relationship, want to be in a relationship, have been in a relationship forever and a day, because I feel like part of this week, this new moon, the Archangel Gabriel's hand on it is about starting to rewrite the story, because Desiree and the disruption card are in the final position. So where is your focus? You will be protected if you are willing to be honest about how much time you're spending thinking about what doesn't work for you. Thinking about if you can't see it, it's not happening. That's not true. That's not true. Part of what Gemini has to learn is there's movement beyond what you can see, beyond anything. And I feel like this is where you'll be protected when you can connect to where is my focus. then you can allow this disruption to work for you. The disruption is not about coming in and detonating a bomb in your life. The disruption is about disrupting the part of you that starts to tell the story where you don't win. The part of you that tells the story of, but look, this is what's happened. I've had this 100 times. I've had this boss 100 times. I think that there's something about Gemini looking at where you've been, and then as you endeavor something new, bracing that it isn't where you've been, and this is how you get to start to recalibrate the whole story. And this is where Desiree and the disruption card are working for you, not against you. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to slow down. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Oh, okay, good. All right, small, you can hear me. I'm going to move on. Going on to our Tauruses. That's Taurus rising, Taurus sun, Taurus moon, and Taurus stelliums. And really, I wish I could say this more consistently, but that might be my Uranus in the 5th house. I think it's rising, moon, stelliums, and sun. And I say that because a stellium is 4 or more planets in one sign. That's going to have a big impact. That feels very influential. Bonsoir. I wish I spoke French. I love French. Okay, here we go. I really feel like Archangel Gabrielle is a feminine energy. I always have. In fact, if she comes out, you'll see she even looks feminine on the card. And why would all 4 of the archangels, Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael, all be male energies? It just doesn't seem balanced. It doesn't seem balanced. And I want to say this too, because frankly, I'm pretty sure that the archangels are not really gender specific in any case. I believe there's a gender leaning, but I don't know if I think they're gender specific. Okay, here we go, Taurus. Our first angel is Vanessa. The second is Ariel. The third is Indriel. And the final is Crystal. Okay. No cussing in the room, Jason. Sorry. Okay. Vanessa is being joined by the goblin. Ariel's being joined by the frog. Indriel's being joined by the queen. And Crystal's being joined by the water fairy. All right. So, Taurus, this is an interesting week, because I want to offer it this way. Vanessa asks you to make your decisions based on faith rather than fear. And then here is the goblin. I really feel like this is not necessarily about faith in the sense of I'm having blind faith in a situation. I think that this is Taurus paying attention to what's happening in their life. And if indeed something is out of balance, a relationship, a work situation, even a dynamic within your family, if it's out of balance, I believe that this is about having faith that it can get better. Or if you're in a relationship or dating someone and it's sort of sketchy or shady, or it doesn't feel quite right, the ego may be trying to give you a heads up. And your job is to have faith that if I listen to my ego and I actually take actions on that, maybe there's something more here. This is the way I kind of want to put it. It's about Taurus getting real with what's going to make them happy instead of settling for something else. So, because what I'm thinking is that faith, Vanessa is saying, are you going to settle for what's in your life that's a little bit less than? Or are you going to have faith that you can have everything you want and say no to the less than? Because I believe here's Ariel, the connection to spirit. But Ariel indicates that your connection is changing the way you view your life, the way you view your decisions, the way you choose to walk through the world. And this offers you jumping from one lily pad to another. It offers an emotional cleanup because there's a reconciliation within Taurus's mind that I want something better than what I have been experiencing. And my ego is urging me to really take a strong look at whether or not I'm getting what I want. Because in the angel's advice is Indriel the Lightworker and the Queen. The Lightworker card is really not about a card of service for me. It's a card that indicates we are all light beings, and our only job on this planet is to do the things that make our heart feel light, to express that light, to be excited about it. And that's what the Queen is about. So here we go. We're basing our decisions, our new things happening to us based on how we are connected to spirit. And in the final position, we have Crystal and the Water Fairy. I want to say for Taurus, this feels like an opportunity on this new moon to start to connect to your emotional, to your spiritual, to your intuitive body. I have Taurus moon. It is in opposition to Neptune and Mercury in the 8th house. And in many ways, that opposition creates this inner knowing for me, this trusting of what Neptune has to offer and what Mercury has to offer, speaking to the dead. But I have to trust my emotions. I have to trust what's happening on my intuitive level versus what's happening in the material world. I hope that made sense. Let me try to summarize. We have a new moon in Pisces. Pisces rules the 12th house traditionally. That is the house that is what is hidden, what is behind us. For Taurus, I feel like as you are willing to say that this is what I want to experience, I want to experience situations where I feel like a queen in my life and I am receptive to receiving good things in my life. And I'm doing that through my connection to spirit. And I'm going to trust my intuition more than I'm going to trust what somebody is telling me with their words. I'm going to trust their actions. I'm not going to try to fix them. I'm going to pay attention to them. And as I pay attention to them, I'm going to align to a deeper truth within myself. And that deeper truth is, does this fill my heart or am I just hoping it will? Because if I'm hoping it will, I might be lying to myself. Okay, here we go. On to our final sign, Aries. Aries rising, Aries moon, Aries stelliums, Aries sun. You know, sometimes it's a little scary to step out on that sort of, it feels almost like a stepping out on a plank, you know, like you step out onto, like if you get on a surfboard, right? And it'll go like this in the water. And it takes a little while to really get your balance and to feel comfortable. Water represents our emotions. I kind of want to go here. Uranus is running through Taurus right now. A lot of you early born Tauruses, whether you're rising sun, moon, or stelliums, you're going to be feeling this need for liberation, this freedom from the old chains, the old binds, the old thoughts that restrict you. And I feel like this is really sort of an opportunity with this new moon in Pisces to look at what you want moving forward, to have spirit to take care of whatever's behind you, whatever you haven't been able to see. Allow them to comfort you and protect you from that. And then allowing Uranus's energy to liberate you. When Uranus is going through Aries, I'm in Aries rising, my whole world changed. In some ways, it may have appeared negative on some. I lost my dad. He passed away, but I also gained me. And I gained this work. I gained this opportunity to be on Lada's channel. So I feel like this is really a period of time where we're, as souls, being tasked with grabbing the gusto of what we want, with really going into our heart chakras and saying, this is important to me. And because it's important to me, it's important, period. Okay, Aries, here we go. I like April. You said Aries and stallion. I think that's great. A stallion is a very, very powerful animal. Okay. We're done with Taurus now. I'm going on to Aries, and then we'll be done. Shelley, I tend to talk too much. I tend to get a thought after I say I'm done, and it's very challenging for those that help with the timestamps, but it's part of the charm of Teri. Okay, Aries, here we go. Our first angel is Ariel. Our second is Crystal. The third is Bridget. And the final is Fiona. Isn't that funny what autocorrect will do? I can't stand that sometimes. And when I try to correct it, it keeps correcting me. Oy, oy, oy. Okay. All right, Aries, here we go. Joining Ariel is the Grail Knight. Joining Crystal is the Hawk. Joining Bridget is the Raven. And joining Fiona is the Burden card. Okay. All right, for my Aries. Ariel says new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself and others inside of your world. And then we have the Grail Knight. The Grail Knight talks about romance, talks about seeking the sacred. It also talks about illusion. When we're in the midst of the beginnings of romance, we can very much see only the rosy, sunny side of things and sort of ignore the things that might be slightly challenging. And I want to offer it this way because I don't necessarily think that this is about illusion, but I do feel like, okay, so Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is action-oriented, ready to move forward, get it done. Also, Mars is the ultimate truth seeker. If you listen to David Cochran, which very much resonates with me. And I feel like right now for my Aries, and being an Aries rising, the connection to spirit is very important. And I say that because I don't know that we're going to see a lot of action moving forward as much as there's the potential of having to do more interior work. I want to put it this way. Bonnie, you're out of, sorry. Small, will you fix Bonnie's number so she knows what it is? Because otherwise I'm going to get in trouble for interrupting myself. Aries, opportunity or obstacle is the Hawk asking me to rise above the situation. And Crystal is saying have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon that you can see. So this is where I'm going with this. Aries, it feels like there's a pause in physical action for you right now. It feels like this is all about going into your emotional body and your spiritual body, your intentional body, and connecting with spirit and rising above a situation because you may not be able to move all the chess pieces right now. That's going to be part of what spirit's job is. And your job is to stand in your truth because there could potentially be a timing issue. We are co-creators on this planet. Yes, we are creating with our own intentions, but we need the cooperation of other humans, not just spirit, in order to create. So let's quick example. You've been preparing yourself for an intimate relationship and you're ready, willing, and able to move into that space. And yet the person who's contracted to be your life partner is still a little bit behind you on that journey. So now you get to say, oh, you know what? Maybe there's more going on. Maybe this isn't just about me as an Aries making things happen, but a timing issue, something more that spirit does. And as I go into that deeper truth, I can trust this timing because Fiona says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance. Look at her. She is so joyously, she's not trying to make anything happen. And then there's the burden card. For my Aries, that's me too. What a pain in the ass it is sometimes to have to wait. What an annoyance it can be sometimes to have to rise above a situation so that I can see things from a different place. That's the burden card. So here we have Pisces new moon being governed by Archangel Gabriel's loving hand. Her hand is asking you to look at how you're communicating with yourself. And if you have insecurities, trepidations, doubts, or fears, to thank her for taking those from you, but not just taking them like you're passing them to her, but for her to give you an experience that will make them solid so that you can truly anchor those into your earthly experience. And as you do that, you will see that Aries, you can push and push and try to make things happen, but ultimately, your job as the truth seeker is to take one step forward, pause, assess the situation, and then receive what spirit has for you. Then take a step forward. It's kind of, it's not a blasting through. Oftentimes when I think of Aries, I see the Knight of Swords. You know, he's on that horse riding with his, and I think it's about sitting on your horse, ready to move with your sword of truth, but waiting for spirit to give you the thumbs up, and then to methodically move forward versus pushing too, pardon me, quickly or reactionarily. It's about conscious choice. Okay, that looks like that's pretty much it for this week. Again, I want to focus in on the idea that this Pisces new moon has a lot of favorable aspects, but as we stand bravely in the energy of what is it that's potentially sitting behind me or that I'm not paying attention to that is inadvertently influencing what I'm experiencing? Am I making my decisions very sure-footedly, or am I hoping? Hope is outside of myself. Hope is an energy that says something's going to happen that will hopefully cure the situation, fix the situation, make the situation better. Faith says, I don't need to worry about anything. It's happening no matter what. So step into that energy this week of faith, thanking spirit for the opportunities that they're bringing forward, and to anchor them in experiences that will allow you to feel solid moving forward. I would like to go back to the beginning of this video, and it was a little choppy, I'll admit, but there are musical notes that and glands and parts of our body that align to the various chakras. And as you're coming into this week, this new moon, being a little bit aware of that, or asking spirit to illuminate what chakra would be most advantageous for you to focus in on. And then it's Shar Margolis was her name. Geez, I could not remember it. Shar Margolis. She works with John Edward, and she has a meditation available that does focus in on the various notes and chakras alignments. So anyway, that's it for this week. I want to thank you all for being here once again. And for those of you that are new, I want to thank you for joining. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm here every week on Lada's YouTube channel with messages from your angels for traversing the transits of the coming week. I'm not an astrologer by nature, but I do play and dabble. So thank you so much again. I appreciate your time, your energy, your love, your intentions for being here. And we'll see you next week at 11 a.m. And I think we will be in March. Be starting March. It'll almost be Stephen's birthday the day before. So we'll have to give him a little happy birthday shout out. All right. Again, pick a number between 2 and 500 to win a free half hour with me. If you'd like to book a reading, you can always go to Lada's website. I'm under the readers menu, and I'll see y'all next week. Namaste, everybody. Blessings.